Good day everyone, I am Samaruddin Samsudin, a second-year VS Psychology student 2A, and today I will discuss to you the existential psychology and forms of freedom, particularly in Rollo's main contribution to this field. For the table of contents of our discussion, we will have the introduction to existential psychology, Rollo's main contribution, forms of freedom, relationship between freedom and destiny. Existential psychology is a branch of psychology that emerged after World War II. Na-develop ito bilang sagot sa tanong na, ano ang tunay na kahulugan ng buhay? Instead of focusing on the past trauma or unconscious desire, existential psychology emphasizes self-awareness, personal responsibility, and meaning-making in life. This field was influenced by existential philosophers like Soren and Friedrich and Martin, and of course Jean-Paul Sartre. They all believe that people should take responsibility for their actions and embrace uncertainty instead of avoiding it. Unlike traditional psychology, existential psychology is not just about diagnosing mental illness, but also helping people understand how they can find meaning and purpose in their existence. This is especially important for individuals who feel lost, anxious, and disconnected from life. One of the key figures in existential psychology is Rollo. He was an American psychologist who introduced existential ideas in psychotherapy. May believed that true freedom comes with responsibility. Hindi tayo basta-basta gumagawa ng desisyon na walang epekto sa ating sarili at sa iba. Every choice we make has consequences, kaya dapat nating tanggapin ang ating responsibilidad bilang tao. Another important idea from me is that anxiety is not always bad. Hindi dapat natin itong takasan. In fact, existential anxiety can push us to grow. For example, kapag may pressure tayo sa school or sa trabaho, it challenges us to improve instead of escaping anxiety. We must face it and use it to find deeper meaning in life. When we talk about forms of freedom, Rollo may identify two types of freedom. We have the existential freedom or freedom of doing. Ito yung ability to make choices and act upon them. For example, yung choosing a career, traveling, voting, forming relationship. On the number 2, the essential freedom or freedom of being. Ito yung deeper freedom related to self-awareness and personal meaning. People can experience this even in a restrictive environment. Alright, when we talk about relationship between freedom and destiny, destiny includes biological, maaari itong social, at psychological limitation. Like people cannot change their destiny, but they can change how they respond to it. So, ibig sabihin, freedom and destiny must coexist. For example, doon sa case ni Philip, a man in therapy struggled with the past trauma and failed relationship. He initially denied his destiny, his childhood struggles, and felt trapped. Through therapy, he learned to accept that his past and make conscious choices, gaining essential freedom. Well, in summary, existential psychology teaches us that life is not just about following what its society tells us or being controlled by the past experience. We must take responsibility and create our own meaning. On the Rollo may emphasize that freedom and destiny are interconnected. Existential freedom of doing is limited if we don't develop essential freedom or freedom of being. Facing anxiety and uncertainty can actually lead to growth rather. Katulad ng sabi ko, at the end of the day, we are the ones responsible for our lives. Kahit may mga bagay na tayong hindi kayang kontrolin, meron tayong kalayaan na piliin kung paano tayo tutugon sa mga hamon ng buhay. So, let me leave you with the question, how do you exercise your freedom in a way that leads to a more meaningful life? Paano nga ba? Maraming salamat. Let's take a look on the other report.